of course, let's talk about this midwife, James, who's tasked with helping get Poppy ready to have her baby. I love how so many people have compared him to being a Ken lookalike.
Well, to be fair, I did put that in the book. So.
Yes, that's right. And so, I mean, I immediately just like, obviously you think of Ken and you think of like, there's so many different kind of like all the different versions of Ken and everything about it, but it's just Ken. You know what? If you get what I mean. But he's blunt. At first, he's very aloof. He can almost seem a little bit. I don't want to say, no, unlikable is not the word. He's very like he's hard for the reader to understand. But then, of course, as the story grows and progresses, he shows himself to be an extremely kind soul and a caring soul, which leads to that change in that dynamic and that relationship. Tell me about James and tell me about creating that romantic element.
Well, so this is the first book I've written, so first rom-com I'd ever written. And I didn't have, I knew he was going to be I wanted him to just be a good person. But then we also needed that kind of like when they get off on the wrong foot, there needed to be a reason for that. But
awkwardness and stuff,
yeah. But I just was like fundamentally, I think there's you read a lot of books these days and like the heroes are really flawed, but they love them anyway. And I was like, oh, I want him to be a little bit flawed, but also I want the majority of him to just be a really good guy. And I think at the start, like he's very process driven. He's like, I'm a midwife. I'm, in a position of power. I need to just be like very black and white. I'm not going to lean into any emotions or any feelings. I just have to like do my job. And like, you're not going to get any extra, value from me in terms of like that bedside manner. And that was how he kind of coped through the situation. And then as she gets to know him, she realizes that, he's actually a really good guy.